ふむ。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット1の貿易港があるんだ。どれにしようかな。
休むことも大事だけど、気を抜きすぎてはダメよ。
温度の酒の目当てで来たんでしょ。いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？どれにしようかな。あと大根スープ。星広い崖の景色は有名よ。
ふむふむ。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット1の貿易港があるんだ。どれにしようかな。
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
冒険も商売もチャンスは一瞬なの。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット1の貿易港があるんだ。
ふむふむ。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
隣国のリーユエには
無駄な時間を過ごしてると仕事が終わらないわよ。
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
ふむふむ。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット1の貿易港があるんだ。
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
ふむふむ。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
休むことも大事だけど、気を抜きすぎてはダメよ。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
無駄な時間を過ごしてると仕事が終わらないわよ。 冒険も商売もチャンスは一瞬なの。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット一の貿易港があるんだ。いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
休むことも大事だけど気を抜きすぎてはダメよ。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
ふむふむ。
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット一の貿易港があるんだ。
無駄な時間を過ごしてると仕事が終わらないわよ。
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか？
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
いらっしゃいませ。
冒険も商売もチャンスは一瞬なの。
古代の錬金術は不思議だな。
隣国のリーユエにはテイワット一の貿易港があるんだ。
休むことも大事だけど気を抜きすぎてはダメ。
難攻不落。
部外者禁止。この仕事は排除するべきですね。せっ次の仕事は？ 芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。仕事がまだ終わってません。休んでいいのでしょうか？芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。仕事がまだ終わってません。休んでいいのでしょうか？芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
暗山八九、
元王帝君のためにお触り禁止。
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to juggle a few things all at once. I'm being bugged while I'm on my break, so just makes things difficult.
剣女盤石。
風雪の縮図相関化粧せっ
逃げられなかった。
よっ
Yeah, typically I don't really do artifact farming that frequently. I'm more into doing talent farming. 'Cause talent farming has an end. It's like, yeah, there's a limit. You're either gonna get them to level 9 or crown them. Puzzle in Inazuma. I heard Inazuma. People had issues with Inazuma. Some of the Inazuma puzzles. I think there was one on the island that was kind of annoying. I can't remember. It's been so long. Because like some of them are you have to have an I mean, like a lot of the ones are you have to have an electro guy, and so some of it is just like you have to get yourself electrode. So you either get one of those little, go to the tree and get a little like thingy on here, and then you'll be covered in electro. And some like for the compass ones, essentially what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to apply yourself with electro, and then the compass will point to you, and then and then once the compass points to you, you get away from it. And essentially, so for the ones that have like multiple compass points, you're essentially supposed to line up the compass. Which one that one was? Pop out. I'm out of condensed resin anyway. Inazuma. This one? What island is this? Out there. It is this one. Okay. Oh yeah, this one. I think I had to look up. Actually, I think I looked up some of the like hidden shit because there's some hidden shit in here that was kind of confusing. But generally, oh, peak. So I would say just look. Oh, okay, here this. Probably has something to do down here. Like, did you line up all these things? Like, get these. Oh, and there's also this thing where you use this thingy. You use the memento lens on that. I don't know if these actually matter. I think these matter, but essentially what you have to do is you have to smack them in the right order, I think. And you can use. Oh, well, there's also this one where it's like, yeah, follow their gaze. It's like, okay, this guy's looking that way. Oh, I know that once you finish this, then it opens up some shit over here, and then you can go down. I'm just gonna. Is there anything in there? Shit.
天道ここにあり。霹靂先陣。
粉々よわめきなさいよっはい
And then, oh, if it's like these things, then what you got to do is you have to get You have to like make sure those line up. Ah, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's a little confusing. There's actually another, I think there's another puzzle in this area where there's like you get certain things. You have to get like certain items, and there's like a bunch of items all over the place. And you have to collect them all. If you get them all, then
剣に誓う決闘せよやっわめきなさいへいふっやっ
難攻不落
but generally, as a good rule of thumb, what I would do is if you can't figure something out, well, one, Google it, obviously. But two, what I do is I put a pin in my map and just put like a little marker, and then just continue on. So the pin will, yeah, the pin will just remind me of other shit. Now, if you're obviously stuck behind something, then yeah, you have to kind of wander around and try to find everything, which can be tough. I think there was one. Yeah, there's something around here where there's like you have to get. There's like a bunch of stones all around here, and you have to get all like 7 of them or something because they're like they correspond to like stars, and then you can go into like one of these rooms, I think,
次の仕事は
and you have to place all the stars. So there's that, which is like you can't do. Oh yeah, or was it here? No, this was. There's some. Yeah, I think it was like 7 or something like that. Maybe it was this one. Maybe. Shit, I forget where it was. I had to look. I had to look it up because like it's something I naturally found like 1 or 2. Yeah, like I found a few of them. And I'm like, oh, cool. There's like these things, and then like ages ago, I was like, okay, well beyond like once we passed well past Sumeru or well past Inazuma, we passed Inazuma, and then it was like, oh, you're done with Inazuma? Okay, well, here we're going to the next area. And then I was like looking through my items. I'm like, why do I still have these? And so I looked up what they were, and I'm like, oh shit, like I need like 7 of them or something. And then you can go to this location and figuring out which one I was missing was kind of frustrating. So yeah, that was kind of tough for that, because like you just don't think like when you get them, you just don't think, oh, okay, I'm gonna go like get them all, and I'm just gonna get them all, or because like you don't know how many there are, obviously, and then you just get what you can, and then like once you think you're finished with the island, that's when you kind of go back and like double check your items and be like, hey, which items do I have? Which items do I need? And then you can see, because usually like yeah, if you haven't found it, then there might have been something that you missed. So that's kind of what I ended up doing. I was like, yeah, I forgot. I probably still have a few items. There's definitely some items I have. I don't know if I have left over. Like, there's definitely some ones in like in Kanomiya that were like, oh yeah, like probably have. I assume that I'm getting more than I actually need. I really hope I am. I can't remember. Yeah, or no, it was in this section. It's like you go down to here and you're just like, oh yeah, I have all these things like this. I should probably look that up as well, because like if it's like a one-off thing, you're like, yeah, that's probably fine, right? Like it's probably a souvenir or something like that. But when you have like four of something or multiples of these, like I have these. I know they're from the pillars in the Sumeru Desert. Like I don't know, do we get extras, or is there a pillar that I missed that could use some of them? But it's also like I get three. Like if it was like one of each of these, I'd be like, oh okay, probably there's a pillar I missed or something. But like I have four of these, three of these, and then one of a bunch of these. Like shit, is there a tower I missed? Same for these drain conch. So every now and then I'll forget, and I'll go back and look at my items and be like, oh okay, yeah, let's just double check. There's an interactive map that is helpful too for stuff like that as well. That I use. It has all the it has all like the treasure chests and shit as well. I have a friend who like when they're exploring, they have that interactive map open with literally every single treasure chest map like linked or on the map, and they'll go systematically through it and actually like find every single treasure chest, which I think is not fun. Like that's kind of boring. Like it ruins the whole point of exploration if you do it like that. Because it's like, well, like that ruins the fun. Like the whole point, you're just like wandering around discovering shit. And I mean, I kind of go systematically through the map in and of itself, but like from an overt standpoint, like I would, if I was going to explore this, I would start here and then like wander around these islands and then come up into this island and kind of go through this island. And then once I think I've covered every bit of this island, then maybe go to this one and explore all that. Wandering around looking for anything I can see, and then move to the next island. So I would still go systematically through it, but not like opening up a map, looking up every single treasure chest, just so I make sure I get every single one. I'm like, nah. There's the compass. Once you build up your reputation, you can, it's a tool. Once you build up your reputation, you can craft these compasses. And the compasses, which actually supposedly are getting a rework in an upcoming patch, will essentially, if you use them, if there's a treasure chest nearby, it'll create a beam of light that goes in the direction of the treasure chest, so you can use that as a guide to like, oh, okay, this one triggered. Like, this is the Sumeru one. It's not going to help, because this is the leeway one. So if I go to a place where I have done everything, see, like, did nothing, cooldown super short, means there's no treasure chest in this area that I can find. In theory, I haven't explored all of this place, so there may be a treasure chest or two if I teleport to random spots. Not here. Yeah, I've done a bunch of exploring. I know there's definitely some stuff I've missed, but I'm just not sure where. But anyway, so like it's the kind of thing where you like when you're wandering around, you can use it as you're walking and exploring, and it'll help point the way. Usually, like for leeway, we already have, like I already had my leeway compass from when I did leeway way back when. So not huge. Like I already had that ready. But for like Fontaine, when Fontaine first comes out, you have to build your reputation in Fontaine first, and it kind of sucks for new players in the sense that, like, you can't. You can only do so many reputation quests per. You can only do so many reputation quests per week. So essentially, you can only get so much reputation per week. So, as a new player, you have to, just do it the proper way. And do it bit by bit. And focus more on one. At least get the compass, because the compass helps you to explore the rest of it. Or you could do it the other way around and just be like, I forget. Like I had to Google it. I don't know. I had to look it up because I don't know which ones you have. I like you have to Google it, figure out where all the locations are, and then if you happen to remember where you got some of them, then great. You don't have to look there. But I think I had to like bring up all 7 locations and then go to every single one because I had done this like weeks, months after I had actually collected it. The compass, I think it's reputation level like 7, I think. Um, but each city has its own separate reputation. So you have to build reputation in Mondstadt, Liyue, is in Inazuma, Fontaine, Sumeru, and there's a compass for each one of them. So it's like you have to go to do it. So that becomes so you have to kind of focus on one or the other. I mean, so you could half-ass it and do a little bit for each one, but like then it'll just take you forever. So it was easy for me, obviously, because I started like when the game first came out, they didn't even have reputation. That was something they introduced later. But at the time they did it, I think it was just Liyue and Mondstadt. So I focused on Mondstadt first. You do like some of the reputation. You can get some reputation experience by doing world quests. So the quests are all around. You can get some from exploration. So if you already explored a bunch, if you explore at least like 60% of the entire region, you can get maximum points. You get reputation points for doing the Archon quests within the area, but that's kind of limited. Like usually, like doing all the Archon quests and the exploration like get you like a few levels, but it gets progressive. You need progressively more and more experience at each subsequent level. So it's like you might be able to get to like level 3 or 4 pretty easy, but then you have to do weeklies, and essentially there's a it's in the battle pass too, I think, or yeah, it mentioned in the battle pass. In the battle pass, if you look at the weekly stuff, there's these 3 requests and 3 bounties. So each week, every single uh, every single zone has 3 side quests you can do, uh, and also 3 bounties. So the side quests are super easy, but you can only do 3 of them for the entire week for every region, like all regions combined. So if you do 3 in Mondstadt, that's your 3 for the week. You can't do. It's not 3 for every country. It's 3 total bounties, 3 total things. So you can do 1 request for 3 cities or 3 requests in 1 city. Same for bounties. You could do 3 bounties in 1 location or 1 bounty for each location. But ideally, you kind of want to focus on 1, get at least to level 7 or reputation 7. Then you can get your recipe to make your compass. And you can also craft. You also get a recipe to find the oculi too. So if you're not using a map to find them and you're just freeballing it, then you can. It's at an earlier level. I think like if 4 or 5, maybe you can get the recipe that allows you to craft a consumable item that when you use, it'll like show you where the closest oculi is, which is helpful if you're missing some. But considering Liyue, Inazuma, Fontaine, Sumeru have like hundreds of them, like a consumable item used to find 1 at a time is gonna suck. But the compass is a reusable thing. So yeah, the compass is reusable, which is cool. And so I would just kind of focus on 1, get the 7, get your compass. If you get to reputation 12, you get some pretty cool shit. In the sense that you get these wings. So Like that's the Fontaine wings. This is the Inazuma wings. This is the Leeway wings. This is the Sumeru wings and the Mondstadt wings. So maxing out reputation gets you that. Gets you those gliders. So which are pretty cool. They definitely go really well with some characters. But like those are the final things. So ideally, I would recommend getting the compass first, getting the reputation 7, get the compass for each city, then focus on whatever city's wings gliders look the coolest or the best. But yeah, Google's a pretty helpful resource. There's a lot of weird little things that you wouldn't even think exist in the game. Like a lot of weird, really niche achievements where it's just like, oh yeah, if you happen to do this one crazy thing, you would never have expected. Like it, there's a chest here. Like you think, oh okay, I'll look for visible chests. But like there was one time where I just saw a group of random pigs, and so I went and killed them. And after killing all of them, like they were all in a circle. And after killing all of them, like it spawned a thingy. But I mean, it should be relatively well, kind of easier to get to get some of the reputation because like when they first came out, there's only so many world quests, but they have built upon world quests. Like so, like when when they had a reputation when Inazuma first came out, um, they only had the islands they had, and so they only had reputation quests on those islands as well. So now because damn it. They only had reputation on like the main island. So now that they've changed it, yeah, and there's more islands and but still more world quests. Now you can do a lot more shit. The reputation you get from them are not crazy. It's like you get like 20 points for every world quest, 100 points for every Archon quest. So it's not like break the bank and be like, oh wow, I got all these. Now I can blast through because you need like a few hundred every single level. So you have to do like every single world quest. Wow, it's 39k. That's pretty sweet. So you need to do a crap load of them. So like the real way to level it up properly is from the weeklies, because if you do the hardest bounty you can, gets you 100 reputation points. There you go. It's for Fontaine, but it's basically the same for everything. If you go into bounties, if you look at the strongest one. Oh yeah, it doesn't tell me. I think it goes like 40 points, 60 points, 100 points. So if you do the hardest one, you get 100 points. So it's 300 points 300 points just from the bounties every week. And then weeklies, I think they're like 20 points each. So it's just another 60. But these are super easy. They're just like, go here, talk to this person, give them from some fruit, kill some enemies. Yeah, super easy. But as you can see, like Fontaine quest, it's like, yeah, there's the Archon quest, which gave me, 100 for each one. So like when the zone first comes out, like there's only like 2 or 3 Archon quests. So obviously that's going to limit you. But like if you're going into a zone that is completely done, like Sumeru, Inazuma, that type of shit, all of these, you can do all these Archon quests, get an easy 500 points, or whatever, however many, and bump your reputation much faster. And then there's all these other ones too. So like 41. So 5 of them are the Archon quests, which means that's 36 20 point ones, and it's 5 points is 100 thing. So that's another 750, 720, 720 points from doing every single world quest. Another 500 points for doing every Archon quest on top of that. So that's 1,200 points, and like early on, you only need like 1 to 200. You start needing like 3 to 500 near the end, but even still, like so you have 1,200 from that. Each one of these gives you another 100, so that's 1,500 just from clearing out these 2 things, and then weeklies for that. So what you could do to be the most efficient is you could half-ass it and actually split your bounties and requests across multiple countries to kind of keep them even while you work on these quests, because it's best to make sure that the quests from the region are done and the exploration has at least gotten to 60%, because these things, like once you max out the reputation, if you then start completing more of these quests, like if you had maxed it out purely on weeklies and then you start working on the quests, essentially those quests reputation would have been wasted, and you could have spent a week's worth of weeklies on another region if you had just done the quest. So that's it's super min-max. Like that's like if you're really being min-maxy about it, it's like it doesn't matter. Like you'll eventually get it. You just do it bit by bit. You'll eventually get them all. It just takes time. And like, you have to like be super focused on like working on reputation and want to be to do things perfectly. And the problem with doing it that way is that you'll probably have to end up. You'll take longer overall. Or you'll take longer to max any one out, but the average time for all of them will be less. So if you did all the exploration and quests and did the weeklies for one, then yeah, you'd be kind of. You might have some wasted. Shit, what's he want? Shit, I wasn't paying attention to what he wants me to make. Your latte. It's. No. So, I generally don't like try to min-max it. Like min-maxing it just ruins the fun. It's the same reason why I'm not gonna like look up where the chests are and systematically go through, because like a huge part of the fun for me at least is wandering around the world. If you see a chest, go get it. You know, teleporting to high points and just gliding across the world, scouring for chests. Maybe using your compass here and there to guide you to maybe some forgotten one or some missing one. You know, that's what I find enjoyment. So yeah, you could min-max it and be like, okay, I'm going to calculate exactly how many quests I need to do, and then do that, and try to do it perfectly. But it's like, you have some wasted. Oh, there it is. You have some wasted reputation experience. It is what it is. Because eventually you'll max them all out anyway, and then it'll all be wasted. Like I don't even do about. Actually, also, I should still do them because the bounties, they give you Mora. Bounties and those reputation, the requests give you Mora for it. I think the bounties like give you 30,000 if you do the max difficulty one. They give you like 30,000 Mora each, which is like 90,000 for doing this. You know, relatively well. I guess you have to actually beat a boss and stuff. That's not super easy, but. Oh, I see. My little doll attacked it. There you go. Okay, that's all 4 of them. Yeah, it should be a week and a half. I really hope Arlecchino is going to be the first one in the batch. So I really like her. She probably will be, because I don't think there's going to be another limited 5-star next patch beside her. So she's kind of it. Right, let's go, man. For the next, because on Friday or tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, we're going to get, they're going to do official, here's what's coming in the next patch. Here's the 5 stars that's going to be on it. Arlecchino is definitely going to be one. But we don't know who's going to be paired with her, and we don't know who's going to be the rate-up banners for the second half. I assume Arlecchino's going to be first half. But in theory, they could not. But, I mean, there have been no leaks of another 5-star, so she's the only new limited 5-star they're bringing to the patch. Which probably means she's going to be the first half of the patch. And I've been saving for her for a while. Even though I did get Chiori, which I shouldn't have done, especially considering how unlucky I got getting her. I wasted a lot of Primo Gems I had saved, but should still have enough for Arlecchino, unless I get like ridiculously unlucky again. But it should be fine. It's like None of the other characters. I mean, maybe Clorinda. I kind of want Clorinda as well, but we'll see. Like, I know literally nothing about her. Well, actually, no, I do know something about her, I guess. Uh, but I'm not sure if the leaks on her kit were that accurate. But essentially, if you follow leaks, especially like if you're looking at Honey Hunter's site, basically once a new patch goes live, essentially what MiHoYo does is they have a beta for the next patch. So like this upcoming patch has a beta, and essentially what the people who are in the beta are doing are leaking the content there. And MiHoYo has actually like sued people for leaking stuff because they're like breaking NDA or whatever. But I mean, and like then they like copyright strike like Twitter and YouTube if they catch that shit. But I mean, it hasn't really stopped leaks from happening. So maybe they have an official guy who's also leaking stuff just to draw a pipe. But essentially, once the patch for the next, once the beta for the next patch goes live, then Honey Hunter starts putting collecting that data, and so you can kind of see who's like who the next person is going to be, what their attacks do, what materials they need, stuff like that. It makes it really convenient because yeah, that's always a good idea. If you get too exhausted or just get too sick of it. And sometimes you just don't know how long things are going to take. Like I remember this one quest in the chasm. I was thinking, oh, it's not going to be that long, right? And I was doing my workout and walking my treadmill like I currently am. Ah, it should be fine, right? Like it won't take more than an hour. It just kept going on and on. And you're like in a little instanced area when it was going on. So I was like, shit, like, can I stop? Like, what's going to happen? And yeah, sometimes things are pretty good and like segmented where it's like, yeah, I can do this bit by bit. But other times, yeah, I mean, it's not bad that it's going on and on. Like, yeah, I like having more content. That's not a problem in and of itself. I definitely have heard people complain about some games where they're just like, oh my god, this game has filler. It's like, oh no, the game has filler? You mean this game that you like? Or, I mean, obviously they're complaining because they don't like it. But like, oh my god, this game that you like or dislike has more game to do? Like, if it's a game that I like, more filler is great. Yeah. It's hard to gauge where it's like, okay, well, when's this going to end? Now, they've kind of gotten in the pretty good habit where character quests and quests like that kind of take about the same amount of time. Where, like, character and Archon quests take about, like, 2 hours. But then every now and then they just do this super long one. Or maybe the quest itself is 2 hours, but, like, they have a string of quests back to back. And you're just like, shit, like, I'm in this special zone. I don't want to do a new... Let's see. Let's do that. Nice. It's pretty quick. But yeah, some ones where it's just like, oh, okay. You do one quest, and it's like there's an immediately follow-up quest, and you're also in like a weird, strange area, and you're just like, okay, well, I don't want to like stop because like I don't know why I'm here. Thanks. So yeah, you end up keep on going, which is it's fine. It's just that sometimes you're in a rush, or like sometimes you're just like shit. I have shit to do, and so you just want to get to a good stopping point. So it's not like the quest itself is bad, but you just don't have a good stopping point for it, or a point where you could be like, okay, cool, like now the quest is saying go to this location on the world map. And, at that point, it's like, okay, fine, sure, that's a good stopping point. I'll just take a little pause right now and then go and do it. This? Dang it. Why don't you like anything? once again. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's mostly the gender application. So, like, Cole, Cole is another one that you get for free, and she's good, but like her burst doesn't do much. Her burst, I don't think her burst lasts as long as the Traveler, and I think it's also over a smaller area. So the Traveler has a pretty quick cooldown for her skill, as well as her burst area is pretty big too, and so it's just a big AOE Dendro applicator, which is nice. So it just goes well with other characters. If you can keep their burst up constantly, then you can just like generally like the characters that that are really good are the ones that do something really well. Like Xingqiu is good for healing and damage reduction, but what he really excels at, what people really like him for, is his Hydra application. So when his burst is up and you do your normal attacks, those 3 swords, and I think maybe even 4 swords once you get him to a high enough constellation, do a lot of Hydra application. So you can get maybe 2 Hydra-based reactions with all his swords. So like, and you're like, and every normal attack you do, triggers those swords to appear. So it's every second essentially you're able to get more and more to get swords over and over and over again. So you'll be able to constantly get Hydra on them. Same for the Travelers. When their burst is up, their burst lasts for a while, and it's over a big wide area. So if you're able to get it to match. Let's see, do I have a Traveler? I don't think I have a Traveler in any of my parties. Let's just swap out you for Traveler real quick.
世界は謎だらけだね。
Got the Sumer. I forget what she was. I've had her in Hydro for a while. She sucks as Hydro. I also like blue, so that's why I did. Left her is blue because the blue. So it's yeah. So like her burst lasts for 12 seconds. It has a long cooldown and energy cost, but I mean lasting for 12 seconds is great. Whereas Cole, I think only lasts. I think she has a lower energy, less longer lasting. There she is. Burst. There's, yeah. So it costs less energy. I mean, so the duration is 6 seconds, as you can see. But energy cost is 60. But the Traveler's duration is 12 seconds. So essentially, she has half the duration, but only 75% the energy cost. Like if she was a 40 energy cost burst that lasts 6 seconds, then that's fine. But she's not. She doesn't have the same ratio of she doesn't have the same ratio of burst to energy cost. So she's not bad by any stretch, but it's just that it doesn't last as long. So like even if you put her on the field and swap her, she's only going to get you're only going to get like 6 seconds of Dendro application before it fades away, which is just kind of hard to mix into a team rotation because essentially if you're going to do other skills and bursts and stuff, you have to do that before her, then swap to her, then even then you only have 6 seconds to utilize all those buffs and reactions. So that's why it's just kind of yeah. Well, I mean, she was given away because like when Sumeru came out, it's like okay, well we're going to give you a free Dendro character. It's going to be Kole, because there were also a few puzzles in Sumeru that needed you to be able to do Dendro from a distance. So she essentially was, one, getting you a free character so you can do dendro reactions, and 2, to be able to solve some of the puzzles in Sumeru. Typically, none of the puzzles that they ever give you in the open world can't be done with the characters they give you for free. That's why there's fire puzzles, fire torch puzzles, because you have an Amber and you can do that with her. And then the elemental puzzles, any elemental puzzle they give you, should be able to be done with the characters they give you for free. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, 12-second duration is super useful. Yeah, I mean, and this one's super good too. Like, increase elemental mastery within the AoE of a burst, which is, great. And then, and every beat of elemental mastery increases her damage. So it's like, this synergizes very well. And also, like, the fact that you just, like, when you do, the fact that, like, the reason why Dendro Traveler is so good is, 1, the talents alone are better than Kole, but also, you're given free constellations. You're able to max out constellations for your Dendro Traveler, whereas Kole, you have to pull. Like, you get the 1 free, but you need to get 6 more copies to get all these. Oh yeah, and that's the cool thing is, her burst gets another 3 seconds on top of that. So that's not 12 seconds, that's 15 seconds duration. Yeah, and this increases Dendro damage more onto your burst. So it's like, it synergizes very well. And Kole is, it's fine. It's not bad. That's kind of okay. That's kind of good, but like, that's a constellation, and the Traveler gets that as a passive, an Ascension passive. This does some extra damage, so it's very damage focused, whereas, and damage focused specifically for her. Increases the damage of her. She does an extra additional damage based on her stuff, so you have to build her well. Whereas a Dendro Traveler, you don't need to necessarily build them because it increases elemental mastery as part of her Ascension passive. There was a bonus to increase the duration of her buff. When her burst is up, it increases elemental mastery of everyone inside the burst. It also increases the Dendro damage of anyone inside the burst, so she works well with other Dendro characters because she can boost their damage as well. For an attack-based character, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Essentially, 666 is good. The only reason she's 9 is I have constellations to boost that up, but 666 is a good baseline. And then just increase the talents of characters you care about. Let's find a 5-star that doesn't have constellation. Here we go. So for him, for instance. Oh, for Traveler? I would say really the only thing about Traveler that's really good is their burst. Dendro Traveler, most of their shit is from their burst. Like, that's cool, but like increasing the damage of this doesn't really matter. I mean, I maxed it out. I went 999, but I'm just doing that for all Traveler iterations. She's 999 for all of them. I'm not going to waste a crown on her, but like, her burst is where she gets a lot of damage. So, obviously, if you're using her on field and attacking with her normal attacks, then you can level this up too. But like, her burst is kind of where she shines the most, because it's in her burst is where she gets this elemental mastery bonus. Inside her burst, this increases her damage based on her elemental mastery, so it's like, yeah, build elemental mastery on her. And then this increases the energy you get back from her skill. So it's like, cool, awesome. Like, that means you can make sure to use her burst bolt more frequently. Yeah, so it's just generally like, this is a burst related, this is burst related, this is burst related. Like, 3 of our 4 constellations, besides the ones that just increase the skill level, are burst related. And obviously, one of them is the burst skill level. So really, it's 4 of 6 constellations are related to her burst. So her burst is kind of where she does most of her damage and most of her utility. So I would focus on that. But generally, at early levels, when you're not like getting them beyond 6 is something for like when you're in endgame, like right when you've gotten max constellation. I mean, not max constellation. When you got into max world level, and because at that point when you're doing what's the thing? When you're at max constellation or max world level, and you're doing the domains for talents and shit, you can get the highest chance of rewards. Because at max, the highest level talent domain can give you a yellow book flat out. It's not guaranteed. There's no guarantee for that for talent domains. But there is a chance where at lower levels you just don't have that chance at all. And obviously, because you have that chance, it will help you for that. But yeah, I would say just get them 666. That's a good steady level where it's like obviously the cheapest to level, both moral wise and books wise. Once you go beyond 6, it gets expensive pretty quickly. Not only does it cost more resin to get the books you need, but also just more. Technically not, because Fontaine hasn't released. There's another area in Fontaine that will come out that essentially will allow us to get beyond level 8. But every other statue, yes. Although, basically, you don't get stamina beyond Leeway and Mondstadt were the only places that increase your max stamina based on your statue level. Every other area just gives bonus rewards. But some of the bonus rewards are constellations for your traveler. So you'll get, their constellations for their respective things. You also get like keys and stuff to open up precious or luxurious chests in the open world. They're like shrines in the open world that I've already unlocked the ones I can see, but like, let's see, is there? Is there a shrine here? But essentially, there are. It was here, I think, right? I think it was at the top of this. Liar. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. I've had that time too where you're just like, oh, okay, I need this many of these ascension materials. And you're like, oh, okay, well, at max world rank, like, you should get like 50% 2, 50% 3. And so you're like, okay, well, if I get that 50% thing, I should be able to do it in this many turns, and you just don't get it. Or you do it enough times and you get screwed. It does suck. That's why I try not to be so, like, too focused on that, because it makes things feel worse, even though at the end of the day it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, like when you're just like super close to it. Where's the shrines? But basically, yeah, you get these shrines, we have precious chests and shit. Always good. Always good shit. So that's why you kind of want to do your statues. I mean, you get Primo Gems too, but where are these shrines? I forgot where they are. They're not that many in each area, but usually you can also see them from the map. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Whee! This baby. These ones, I mean, you see them in Mondstadt and Leeway too. But these guys, you get keys for them from doing the statues most nowadays, so that's the point to do them. And probably Primo Gems, and there's like obviously good rewards to do it. Yeah, the interactive map can help you figure out where the statues are.
「情報提供者から知らせがあったわ。うん。どうやらまた新たな変数が現れたようね。
But yeah, you get geo keys for a few reasons. I forget what all of them were.
いくつか作ってあげよう。
I think some might be story quests. I think some were like there are these domains that are useful. I forget if they give you keys or not. But like the one and done domain, where you like do them with like some sort of weird combat challenge, and some of them get keys. I forget. It's been a while. Like they haven't.
どうやらまた新たな変数が現れたようね。
I think they. I haven't really done. I don't think they've done domains like that in a while. Actually, or maybe no. Actually, maybe they still do. I just forget because I do them once I'm done. Or maybe Fontaine just didn't have any. Yeah, I think Fontaine actually didn't have any of those random domains. I think Sumer had some, right? Like, is this a random domain? Yeah, like this was a random domain. So I guess. Ah. Okay, so I think. Oh yeah, that's what I was really gonna do. I was gonna level the talents of you. Actually, maybe I should. Oh fuck, I'm out of
悪くない目が。
Whopper flowers again. I mean, it's good that they don't have lots of new things that you need to do, but it is also frustrating that when they require old stuff. Because like I don't know, so many characters I've built recently just need more and more Whopper flowers. It's just so like I keep trying to keep a good steady supply of them, but then a new character comes out which drains me completely.
粉々よ。よっ。それ。よっ。はい。
Yeah. And then I need to farm again. I mean, it's not hard at all. Just going and killing a few, looking on the map where they are. They track them pretty well for you, so it's pretty good. They only track a certain number of them, but the fact of the matter is that it just tracks them, but they still exist. So even if even if they say, "Oh no, you have to wait," you don't actually have to wait. Like you can find them on the map and kill them. I forget where this one was. This is the one I know where it is. I know there's one down here. I just forget how far along it was. There's that dude. Oh, there it is.
めきなさい。それ。よっ。そこ。
Looking for depths in all the wrong places. I'm not sure. I forget what the depths were. Generally, if you're going to Google it, try to Google it by item, or if you know the exact name. If you know the exact name, that's great. You might need to just like search World Quest. Well, but he gave up his Gnosis. Plus, he's also like, oh yeah, the Shrine of the Depths. That's what they're called. There's an interactive. I would just Google Genshin Impact interactive map. I think there's one. There's one I use that's really, really good, which essentially shows the entire map, and then on the left side it has this banner where you can toggle various things. Like that's the map that my friend uses to get the treasure chest, because you can actually see all treasure chests, all types of treasure chests, precious, medium, the shitty ones. You know, you can use that. Let's see, there's another one over here. And it also has the Shrine of the Depths. And so it'll just pop every single one that appears on the map. And if you log in with the Google, I think, you can then actually mark the map, the icons too. So you can be like, oh, okay, I'm going to log in. Now anytime you can mark a location and be like, yeah, I found this. You can mark it as found. And the next time you log in and display all the Shrines of the Depths or whatever you mark, will remember what you marked. And then you can choose to hide marked things too. So definitely useful. I think the Genshin, the Hoyo app also has an interactive map. I'm not sure how good it is. I never really used it. I was already using the one I like the one I use. Like if you just Google Genshin interactive map, I think the top result will probably be the one I use. And I've been using that for like forever. So like the Genshin interactive map only came into existence relatively recently. Well, not relatively, maybe a year or two ago. But like the interactive map had been there forever. Like even I think even when the game was in beta. But obviously it's been getting progressively better, adding more things to track. I think initially it was just treasure chests, and a lot of it was kind of relying on people logging stuff. And now that more people use it, more people are logging stuff, so it becomes even better. In fact, like sometimes the stuff that they show on the map is kind of hard to understand, or like you see it on the map and you're like, huh, I'm at that location on the map, but it's not there. And then that's when you realize, oh, okay, it's underground, right? But if you actually click on the map or click on the icon itself, it'll actually bring up comments. So people who are logging them will make comments, and so sometimes the comments are really good, where they're like, oh, actually for this one, you have like, even though it's here, it's actually like 500 feet up, and you have to do this quest, or you have to go over here to get to the ramp to get to this spot. So it's pretty useful, because like there are definitely some ones that will appear, and you're just like, I have no clue where this is, and then you check the comments, and you're like, oh, okay, that's where it is. I just gotta go here, and then here, then here, and then I can get up to there, or down to there. And they've gotten pretty good, too, for the underground shit. Like, if something is underground, now they'll have little, like, line markers, essentially drawing a line from the closest entrance to the cave or whatever to the thing. So it'll be like, oh, okay, here's where it is on the map, but here's where the entrance to the cave is that you'll need to get into to get to this underground thing. So let's let you know ahead of time. So, yeah, the interactive map is super useful for shit like that. So if you need to know where, like, overworld shit to farm is, like if you need to know where a particular type of enemy spawns, the interactive map has it. If you need to know where any chests appear, the interactive map has it. Basically every single landmark in the game is there. It's also a great way to hunt the oculi too, because the oculi also appear there. No, I would say just go into the interactive map. Because the interactive map has a thingy on the side of it. Let me just. I'll link it in chat. I'll link it in chat. Yeah, go to that location. And then on the left-hand bar is a Shrine of Depths. If you just click it so it's highlighted, it'll then make all the it'll make a bunch of markers on the map up here.
芝生に寝転がると
That's a super helpful resource. Yeah, so basically that's the map I use. So when I'm searching for the oculi, I'll use that map and look for the oculi, and actually mark them. Those are one of the only things. Well, actually, I don't use it to hunt them down, but I will keep the interactive map open with all the oculi locations open, so that whenever I find one, I'll mark it. So that way, if I am unable to find it naturally on my first time, I will consult it. And now, since I marked them as found when I found them, I won't have to research for them. It's like back in the day, what people were doing, especially when they had a lot more pins, is they would go onto their thing and be like, "Oh, okay, I found an oculi here. Oh, okay, I'll put a pin down and mark it as found." And then when they're consulting a map later, they would say, "Okay, well, I have a pin here, so I found it." Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of how it's always going to be. It's just the developers are busy developing the actual game, and so the people who have the bigger need for it are the people who actually have to play the game. So they're the ones who, and it's also like you're pulling a huge group of people, like hundreds of, millions of people play the game. So finding one person of those million people who knows how to program these things well or set up these things very easily is much greater. So I do get why it happens. Obviously, it'd be great if we could do it, but like they've been Pyro. Natlan's coming up next. And then Snezhnaya. Kinda. They actually, before Genshin even released, they released a video that essentially told you exactly what countries were happening in what order. And even showed character footage. So essentially, it was this video where they essentially said, "Oh, Chapter 0, like the City of Freedom in Mondstadt," and then they showed a character, and then they're like, and then the Liyue, where the Archon of whatever, and then and so like they showed Ayaka, they showed a picture of Ayaka in that before like Genshin even released, we saw a picture of Ayaka. When they were saying, "Oh, we're going to go to Inazuma, the land of eternity, and then we're going to go to Sumeru," and I forget who they showed for that. Maybe it was Sino. I think they showed Sino. They showed Sino when they were describing a brief Sumeru. It's a relatively short video. It's like a 5-minute little thing. They don't really show much, but they do show a few character splash shot. So they showed Lynette and Linny as when Fontaine, when they were like, "Oh, and then we go to Fontaine," and they showed a splash art or a piece of art with Lynette and Linny. And then for Natlan, there was just like this little girl. And then Snezhnaya, I forget who they showed for Snezhnaya. And then Conria after that. They mentioned, and then like the next chapter is Conria, and I forget, maybe there was another chapter after that, I forget. But so essentially we've kind of had a rough game plan of what's going to happen and when, even since back then. So we already knew the order of the things, but we didn't know like who the Archons were going to be. We didn't know really much about the actual story in and of itself. Ooh, what's that? Uh, Possibly. There are some interesting things that have happened in later parts of the story, so I don't want to like say that anything like that. But there are, I, I think it was Sumeru. Yeah, I think that's it. But I think that's how you spell it. I don't care that. But I think in like Sumeru, in the later part of the Archon quest, they do bring up some interesting things about your sibling. So whoever you play, the opposite of. So I'm obviously Lumine. They talk about Aether. They mentioned some interesting things about. Actually, you know what was it? It was either Sumer or Fontaine. Maybe it was Fontaine. Crap, I can't
芝生に寝
remember.
転がると大地の
But
声
it was kind of interesting. So I was like, oh, that's interesting because I guess it's like, oh shit, like because they obviously they talk about us as being an aberration, like how we aren't native to this world, which makes sense. So yeah, so the stuff they bring up was really interesting. But I don't want to spoil it. So I mean, basically the Archon quests are really interesting. I've enjoyed them all. They've all been pretty fun, uh, and very spectacular and cool. And that's just the Archon quest, but just like the other random quests you see all around the world are pretty interesting. But yeah, so he could be trying to bring. I mean, it's
穏やかな雰囲気
well, we were like trapped in like
とても好きです
uh, I mean, they haven't really explained it. I assume they're going to explain it at the very, very end because, like, obviously they took away our sibling, and then we like just we wake up and it's 500 years later. So it's just like, okay, well, maybe we were in stasis. Like maybe she trapped our sibling and then trapped us, and our sibling woke up later. Yeah, and like so, like, are we actually 500 years old, or like were we in a time stasis that we just recently broke out of? I mean, there's a whole interesting thing about like how our powers even work too, where it's just like because we can use the elements and all that shit without visions. So like, how does that actually work? Does it have to do with our biology? Do we have some sort of superpower? Like when we get all elements, we become like godlike or something? Like
芝生に寝転がると大地の声
yeah,
が
but like
聞こえてきます
I mean, in theory, with the wind powers, we should, but maybe we'll be able to get our flight. I mean, we had wings though, so it's possible like the wings were like some sort of creation that we were using to fly. And so maybe were those wings a manifestation of our power, or were those wings like an actual physical thing, and they were destroyed by the god? And I mean, it makes it seem like, oh yeah, once we reunite with our brother, we can just say we can peace out and leave. So maybe they are just a manifestation of our power, or maybe we know how to build them, or maybe our sibling knows how to build them and we don't, and that's why we need to get them, and then we can rebuild our wings. Or maybe we're like a pair. We need both of us together, and through synergizing our power, we can then create those wings again. Who knows? Like, it's like, yeah, they haven't answered it. Who knows if they will? But anyway, I have to get back to it, so I'm going to go ahead and log out for now. I will be on again tomorrow, and maybe later today. I think they have the general outline out. I don't know if they have all the details and stuff, but I'm pretty sure, like, the fact that they even knew which countries were going to be when and in what order, like, they already had an outline for how the story was going to go, and I think they're just fleshing it out as they go along. So I think, like, obviously when Natlan comes out, I'm pretty sure they have, like, all the Archon quests already, like, set for Natlan, and and at that point are even, like, working on writing the next country's chapter. But it's hard to say, like, who knows how they do it. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and log out. Nice chatting again. See you maybe tomorrow. I'll be definitely on tomorrow. I might be on later today playing another game. We shall see what I feel like. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.